To learn about the off-grid lifestyle and to be inspired to live your dreams, click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Hit the bell notification. Thought I'd take you down into my woods today. Haven't done this in a while. I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks since I've been down in the woods. It's just been so hot, and you know, the snakes and the ticks are out, but I put some bug spray on today. I'm going to be careful with the snakes, the copperheads. And the reason I want to take you down here is I've had a lot of comments that I want to address. Over the last few days, about a half a dozen of my videos have just exploded with views, and as a result has given me a lot of new subscribers and or commenters. And I hope that everybody gets to check out this video because it's an important video and one that I address quite regularly. Now, before I get started, there are spider webs this time of the year everywhere in the woods, so you'll see me doing this, trying to get spider webs off my face. I've gotten a lot of comments that I really want to try to help people overcome the obstacles they have in life so they can live their dreams. It's really unfortunate to me that people seem to think that they're trapped. They can't go any further and accomplish things because of life circumstances or something happened. They don't have the means, they don't have the money, they don't have the courage. I want to show you the beauty of my property. Right here, I have 1.5 acres. I don't have much. To me, this is the world. This is everything there is in the world. It's my paradise. It's everything that I've dreamt for. Now, to give you a little background of myself, I'll go back to around the year 1999. You know, I just gotten out of the military a few years earlier and kind of settling down into life, getting my career started. And I met my wife and her daughter. I adopted her daughter. It was a step-parent adoption. Got her into college when she was 14. She was homeschooled. Just the brightest kid. Right now she's going back to school to get her master's degree. She is just super genius. So in 2014, my wife left me. It was a stressful divorce on me. It was hard. At that time, I just started a new job about a year earlier. I was trying to get my feet wet into that new job. And it was a stressful job. I worked in what was called a sheltered workshop, and what my job was to teach 200 disabled employees how to work in a manufacturing job. My job was to encourage them to go out and find gainful employment. Now, all that being said, we still had to be profitable. We had to be able to make money, and we had to compete with other industries. So we would package a thing, and it may take 4 of my employees to do the job of 1 employee at a regular manufacturer. I mean, even if you think about a physically disabled person, if I had 1 person that was able to use their right arm and 1 person that was able to use their left arm, and it was a 2-handed job requirement, I would have to have 2 people do that job. So it was very stressful. And so I'm just going through a divorce, new job, trying to manage this job. And it was a 16-hour-a-day job. I was a manager there. And the stress level was killing me. I just didn't want to go on in life. It was getting pretty tough. Now, I'm not a type that takes medication. And one day, I yelled at one of my employees, not the disabled employee, a fully functional employee, a supervisor. I mean, it was something I shouldn't have done. And so, of course, rightfully so, I got wrote up. And my boss told me that he wants me to go see a doctor so I can get medicated so I can deal with the stress of the work. So at that point, I realized I'm not feeling well mentally. I'm struggling to get out of bed every day because I just don't want to continue. And now my boss wants me to medicate myself. So I said I was done. I had to figure out how to calm down. So saved up enough money. We got debt free. I was $50,000 in debt from my divorce. That was a serious problem in my life. So I had to continue to work until I got debt free. Had to. I got debt free. I was able to save up enough money to live several years without any employment. Now that means also that I had to reduce my budget. I had to learn how to live with less. And it was actually quite easy once I met Carolyn. Carolyn just doesn't like to buy things. She likes to make sure she's got a good safety net in case something happens that we can take care of ourselves. If we need a new truck, go out and get a new truck. You know, there was a time there where I said, I'm just giving up, but I didn't. I continued on, and I was able to buy a little camper we traveled the country for 3 years, and we didn't like it. You know, everybody talks about the freedom of traveling, being able to go wherever you want to go. Nobody can tell you what to do. It's really very romantic sounding. It really is. You watch these movies and TV shows and the hippies and all these things, and you think, yeah, that's the way to go. But it was actually quite stressful. I mean, you're always under pressure from national forest rangers, other people destroying the campgrounds, people out partying. It was quite stressful lifestyles. So in August of last year, so this is July, so almost a year ago, Carolyn and I decided we were going to quit the nomadic lifestyle. We were going to find a piece of property that we could live on off-grid. The thing that we learned about living the nomadic lifestyle is that you don't need a lot of things. You know, you don't need a lot of electric, so you got to learn how to minimize your lifestyle. This is where I think folks get confused. I remember years ago I was trying to build my solar panels onto my house, and I wanted to replace the electric that I was buying with solar panels, but it was just unreasonable to think that I could do that. I mean, the cost would have been phenomenal. But when I got out into the nomadic lifestyle, I realized I don't need electric. How much electric do I really need? Well, I got to work, so I got to have a computer, some cell phones, and a refrigerator. That's the extent of the electric I need. What I use in one day in electric, most people will use in about an hour. So I just don't require a lot of electric. So I learned how to minimize my life. I realized that the stress that I had to endure was minimizing also. I didn't have to worry about as much. I don't have to worry about buying utilities. I don't have to worry about replacing a computer. You know, right now my computer really is just a tablet. It's a Windows tablet is what it is. And I do all my work from it. It doesn't have a keyboard. So any typing I have to do, I have to click, I got a mouse, and I can click at the screen to type. This thing doesn't use much electric. Whereas if you had a big computer or even a laptop, it takes tons of electric. So it's less stress having to deal with all this. And as the stress is reducing, I'm realizing, man, life is wonderful. So for the people who say, I live hand to mouth, I can't afford anything. I have one person tell me, well, a couple people told me, one person said, I wish I could be sitting next to you. If you really think about that statement, you don't want to sit next to me. You want to sit out here in these woods by yourself. And so how do you do that? I had another person tell me, I live hand to mouth. There's just no way I can afford it. I would have to sell my house in order to go do something like this. Well, yeah, I kind of understand what you mean. You're living hand to mouth. But it goes back to several things. One, I only spent $4,200 on this property, paid cash for it. And when you really think about it, I know when living hand to mouth, $4,200 sounds like a lot of money. But in the scheme of things, it's cheaper than a car. Don't get a loan. So if you can just sell a bunch of your stuff, remember, you're going to sell your house, right? You want to live on this piece of property. You find a piece of property, $4,200. And so you sell a lot of your stuff. You don't need that stuff. What do you need? Do you really need the dining room table and the couch and, you know, all the other stuff that you collected over the years? Just start selling it. Once you get to that point of $4,200, go buy yourself a piece of property. You can come out here, get yourself a little camper like I'm doing. Learn the skills that you need to learn. I can't tell you. I think, you know, Carolyn and I spent $4,200 on this. And then all the stuff that we needed to get started, we spent, I think, another $3,000. Solar panels and a well pump and just different things to get us down here. But just at $7,000, we were living down here. Now, the biggest thing I think most people are worried about is the fear of it. And I think a lot of people don't even realize they are fearful of it. They are fearful of selling their house, giving up everything they own to live their dream. And I can understand that. You've worked very hard your entire life to have a home. And so if that's the case, you really need to sit down and analyze what your dream really is. Is your dream really to come out here and live in these woods? Or is your dream the home that you spent your entire life trying to pay off? You really need to write it down. What are the pros of living in your house? What are the cons of living in your house? What is the imaginary pros that you would have? I mean, because you don't know until you do it, but you can imagine, okay, what is the the advantages of living off-grid away from people. And what is the disadvantages of living off-grid away from people? Now I'm actually out here. I struggle to find any disadvantages of living out here. It's incredible to me. I mean, I had these fears, you know, what are we going to do about water? So actually being out here and doing this, I have nothing to fear. It's wonderful. But I think the biggest problem is the fear of the unknown. Carolyn and I live on $500 a month. We make a lot more than that, and that all goes into savings and an emergency fund. That way, if something does happen out here and we don't like it, we can bail out. We can get out of this. And we can sell the property, $4,200, get that back. We've lost nothing. I hope I can inspire you to actually pursue your dreams. Thanks for watching.